Fourth Age, Year 1, at the very end of the God Wars. It was only a matter of time. The roads all led to one direction. The great manifest of balance now stood before them, and both those in fear and those in awe rushed to meet him. There in the darkened lands of Pharynthry, at the very entrance to this now falling land, he walked slowly. In the land whose formerly crimson cyclones in the sky tore asunder, and fell like ash devoid of all color. "O great green lord," he whispered, as he saw him stand firm in the distance. "Were it not for your awakening, the world would never know peace. And now I see you in all your glory stand before me. O mighty justiciar of nature, O waking giant of balance." Slowly he toiled in the road that once flowered with life, and now remains but a borderland between the ravaged Pharynthry and the nomadic lands of the wars of Sir Dominant Zamorak. In the sky he sees Aviances that fight fall down, and those that seek peace fly high above. In the distance the goblins dance with the humans, and the demons of Zamorak beg for mercy. Wicked commanders fall to their knees, and are not permitted to move. The mixture of wails and joyful sounds disturbs his heart, but he is firm in his sight. A moment cannot pass him. In the distance the mighty Guthix stands, his sword struck firm into the ground. From his being calm spreads through the horizons. The chaotic waves in the heaven disintegrate and turn into a desolate silence. "Mighty Lord of Balance, how great is the suffering you uphold now. Endure, our champion, endure, O awaited one, for whom the Druids chanted words of blessing." He says this while holding firmly onto his sword's hilt, and treading more rapidly through the roads and ways, cutting through dead trees, and stomping on the tiresome trace of bones from fallen victims of this cursed war. How burdensome the mind must be, of the great one who banished the false gods, he thinks to himself. Tired, the traveler rests and looks onward, as he senses a wet grassland before him. Silence that is distraught in his mind now looms in the auras of balance that heal the world. The balance of the anima mundi scarred by war. The witnessing overwhelms him. His mind is boggled. A distant green wave rises from Guthix's right ear, and a tear drops from the traveler's eyes, and he gasps for air. "Mathilda! Rinioren and Adea!" Overwhelmed, he sits now in tumult, unable to move, as his face turns reddish before the waves of peace that readjust the balance in the world. Distant folk hail Guthix. They cry out of joy. Generals and commanders of the conflicting factions cry out in pain, and are forced to their knees before the might of balance. Demons that once roared in the land, colossi that once wreaked havoc, now wail and collapse. Iceyen that loomed the skies in terror fall to their demise. But a whisper reaches him, tearing through the veils upon his perception. What once his mind could not think of, he now sees in all truth. "Pray not to me. Be calm in thy own self." He hears this in his mind. All of war that he endured now seemed like a day. Like one day alone did the entire age of the God Wars seem to him. "My lord," he whispers, "you hear me. You hear me. You reach out to me, O Pillar of Gelenor. You seek me as your loyal, and yet here I am, powerless to uphold the rights of balance. I cannot move, O Great One. I did not want you to meet me in tears, not in this state of utter commotion." "Speak." The whisper follows, as Guthixian light green waves appear before him in the utter dark. The Pharynthry's chaotic grasp now turned into an eternal void, a darkened sky that will remain desolate for ages to come, worn out from the God Wars. "Speak and gaze before you, Druid. Be witness to the balance of what lays between me and you, and of what lays in thy own self, for you have devoted enough of your life to me." The waves of unveiling continue, and the druid sees his purpose clearly with no doubt, but his heart is full, and it springs with a river of contemplation over everything that had happened. The wars, my lord, the ages of the false gods thundering in our lands, the ages of the titans and false claimants to power, these thousands of years of unrest and conflict, these rivalries that tore families apart and brought nations upon each other's necks, they all fall before your mighty stand, like heavy stone thrown into the abyss. The void clears out for him, and now he can see in the dark. What once was a land of chaos is now a tranquil desert of darkness. He sees the joy and suffering before him, the fallen and the innocent. And behind him there follow green lands, green expanses that renew themselves in the mighty meditations of Guthix. Here now I stand in the 4,000th year of the Third Age, being witness to its end. The druidic wisdoms have spoken truly. This matter is over. On this day, says the druid. Continue. The waves respond to him. The Sir Dominists that pummeled our villages are devoid of their power. He cannot find the strength to deliver words, but the Green One imposes upon him. Speak. Speak on, O Saint of Balance. The waves whisper again to him, while the distant sky dawns only slightly in light. The Zamarakians and their curse, all of it is now futile, for they are children of no father. The waves pulsate, and in the distance he sees bands of people, crowds, cheering and celebrating the end of the God Wars. He sees tyrants fall into the earth that swallows them whole. He sees mighty colossi and demons crumble into their demise. The Bandosian yoke and the Armadillian flock, they are both lost in their ways. How many times were hopes brought about as the Green Lord rose, and how many times did the fanatics of their gods attempt to destroy his will? But now the earth of Gielinor pulsed with the victory of balance and none else. The devastating horrors and games of cruelty were no more. All-empowering blessings and words of praise descended upon Guthix, as his very soul tore from the corruption that spread in the earth. The eternal will to power of the arrogant is now destroyed, and Guthix speaks to this man. Half a day's travel away from him, and he speaks with no doubt. Out of all people he calls him, and yet who knows how many more are called to his mystical knowledge at this grand display of judgment. Now you have known me, Druid, in the best of ways for this very moment that has struck your lifetime. You have known me in the void that stands between pure balance and those who seek it. Above all, you have known yourself, O son of the human race, and you have suffered because of me, as you suffered in my way. All I offer you, my loyal, is freedom from me, for I cannot shackle you before this very nature in which my energy dwells. You must understand the pain that I bear now as the world prays for my victory in this meditation. For if I was to go against the very anima mundi that woke me into this broken world now, I would surely as a creature perish in hypocrisy. My voice reaches you, and it reaches all those who remain true to the path of balance. As you have done duly to it, so must I return the favor. Now therefore go and be free, O warrior of balance. Inherit my strength now, and be firm in the ways of harmony as you yourself see them. Your family will meet you in the worlds to come after your own death, for no separation is permanent, O Druid. Know, O Druid, and now Freeman, that no union is permanent except that of acceptance of all that is, as it is, and only as it must be. As thus the Green Lord spoke to him, he hears the thunderous sounds rise into the heaven, and Guthix shouts, Hear me, O Anima, for 12 days I have stood here to fight off in my meditation the roots of evil that tore you apart. Now in my focus I will become victorious. Hail, Balance, the principality of the worlds! The pulsating waves disperse before him, and the winds calm. A final wave blast pulsates in the distance, and the dead trees now blossom rapidly into greenery. The wailing of the creatures calms, and the Green Lord opens his eyes before him. He sees Gelenor, and he hears the Anima Mundi slowly recover. His grip upon the sword of the edicts calms, and the creatures amass in silence.